Venus is now in Gemini, bringing a light and airy vibe to our casual conversations and our everyday connections. And Venus will be in Gemini throughout eclipse season, my friends. So in this video, I'm going to share with you, where is Venus transiting in your natal astrology chart? What does the Gemini energy have for you? What is it bringing to you? And I also have received more insights about the total solar eclipse in Aries since my last video on the eclipse, in which I also did readings for all 12 signs, so you may want to go back to that. I'll link it below. But I want to share those solar eclipse insights with you as well, which I'm going to do at the end of this video, so be sure and stay tuned for that. So if I haven't said it already, in this video, I will be doing readings for all 12 signs, letting you know in which area of your life Venus in Gemini is transiting, which area of your chart, and I will also be pulling an oracle card for each of the 12 signs. So be sure and listen to your rising sign. That's the area of life that is being activated for you by Venus, but also your sun sign and your moon sign may bring in additional intuitions and insights. You may want to listen to those readings as well. So before I get into it, I want to say hello and welcome. I'm very happy to have you here. If you're new to me, leave me a comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I absolutely love connecting with you. Hello and welcome back to those of you who regularly watch my videos. I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your support. And hello and welcome to my Sunday chat friends. We convene here Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Everyone is invited. I have so much fun hanging out with you all. I am a psychic astrologer and an intuitive life coach, and it is my joy to help you to connect with your own heart's true calling, whatever is calling to your heart right now, whatever you most desire. My goal is always to empower you, whether we do this through an astrology consultation or through coaching. So at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you more about my astrology consultations, what you can expect to receive, as well as my coaching. And I have a free gift for you as well, so be sure and stay tuned to the end of the video to get your free gift. So what can we expect from a transit of Venus in Gemini during eclipse season, my friend? Well, let me first of all give you the dates of Venus transiting Gemini. Venus went into Gemini April 11th, and it will stay in Gemini until May 7th. Remember that the first eclipse, the total solar eclipse in Aries, is going to be April 19th and 20th, and the second eclipse, the Scorpio lunar eclipse, which is a partial eclipse, that is happening on May 5th. So Venus will be here in Gemini throughout eclipse season. Venus in Gemini helps us find the magical moments in the mundane reality of life. Venus is about love, it's beauty, it's pleasure, it's connections that light us up. It is delight. And if you think of the word delight, it is of the light, of the light. So through the magic of Venus and Gemini energy, we can experience the truth of ourselves being of the light. In Gemini energy, we have 1 foot in the material reality and 1 foot in the ethereal reality. Gemini is a sign of duality. It's known as the winged messenger, where we receive divine downloads. It's ruled by Mercury, so we receive divine downloads from our ethereal selves, the part of us that is connected to the divine. So this is where the magic comes in. This is where the signs and the synchronicities come in, where we can receive these often through everyday casual connections, conversations, very spontaneous. Gemini energy is playful, it wants fun, it's the girls just want to have fun statement. That is the epitome of Venus in Gemini. Venus in Gemini wants a variety of experiences. It wants to explore, it wants to learn, it gets a lot of upliftment by being in different scenery and interacting with a lot of different kinds of people. Venus in Gemini will just casually start a conversation with pretty much anyone that is around, as long as the vibe is feeling good, as long as the Venus in Gemini person is feeling like, yeah, this person seems friendly enough, we'll start up the conversation with somebody else that we don't know. This is why people often say that Venus in Gemini is very flirty. Now, as someone who has Venus in Gemini in my natal astrology chart, I disagree a little bit with the flirty label. I think it's more about friendliness. I think it's more that in Venus and Gemini energy, we're really attracted to people. We love people on a high level. We love people. And we know that that gift of love and connection can come in any moment with the grocery store clerk, with the Uber driver, with the person cleaning our home, if we're so lucky as to have someone cleaning our home. Anyone that we speak with, we know that we can have a magical conversation. We can feel the love coming through, and that amazing downloads and insights can come from these connections that we would maybe call trivial. In Venus and Gemini energy, we know that nothing is trivial. Everything can bring a spark of surprise and delight to our lives. So one way that I think this can help us during eclipse season is that you could, my friend, have an unexpected, surprising, spontaneous moment with another person. It could be a conversation. It could be you're asking them for directions. It could be you're getting your nails done somewhere. It could be so many different things. You could be in a taxi driving to the airport, whatever it is, you could receive from that something that puts you on a new path. Now, of course, this could be a new lover. Gemini also rules the lovers. It's the lover's card in the tarot. But it could also be someone saying something to you that sparks a new insight or a new aha or epiphany. And you run with that, because after all, this is a solar eclipse in Aries. This is a just no solar eclipse, as I spoke about in my first video on the eclipse. In the same vein, something could come through, a conversation, a communication, an email, or some other kind of mercurial modality that makes you realize that you need to release something, a situation, a job, or a person from your life. So it could happen in both ways. Now, who will be most affected by this transit of Venus and Gemini? Those of you who have planets or points in the mutable signs of Gemini, Sagittarius, or Virgo. You will feel this transit of Venus and Gemini more intensely, more personally, but of course we all have Venus and Gemini somewhere in our natal astrology chart, so we're all going to be feeling this, especially because the outer planets are making connections to Venus and Gemini, and that gives us some key dates that I want to share with you. Key dates on when we're all going to be experiencing this energy more intensely. And so I want to share these key dates with you and let you know how you can work with those energies. Also, though, I want to remind you that Gemini rules devices. It rules electronics, our phones, our computers. So it's a good idea, because there will be some tense aspects at times during this Venus and Gemini period, to make sure your devices are fully backed up, as of course we should be doing anyway, but we have full lives and we forget. Venus and Gemini also rules short trips, including day trips and long weekends, so you may want to take a short getaway, and if you do that, there could be some really lovely blessings that come from that as well. Now, because I have a stellium in Gemini, I have my natal Venus, natal Mercury, and my Sun in Gemini in my 12th house. Because of that, I wrote a book called The Magic of Saying Yes, because Gemini energy loves to channel the magic of the universe. And this is open to all of us as co-creators of our reality, co-creating with our higher selves. This is, of course, open to all of us. And in the book, I share a number of moments of synchronicity, signs that I receive, messages that I receive from the divine, and how you can do that too, my friend. I share a lot of different techniques and tools and meditations on how you can also, so if that calls to you, my book is linked in the description box below, as well as in my YouTube banner. Okay, so let's look at some of the key dates of Venus transiting in Gemini. First of all, Venus trine Pluto. Now, this is a transit that happened already, but I want to tell you about it because something may have happened a few days ago when Venus was trining Pluto that you can relate to. And astrology always proves itself, so I think it can be really helpful to go back and look at some moments in time when certain transits were happening and see what happened for you, and if you feel a connection. And that can really help us on our path to learning and applying astrology to our own lives. So Venus trined Pluto April 12th and 13th. April 12th and 13th. So yes, it was a fairly short-lived transit. However, it was a beautiful transit to be happening with Pluto now newly in Aquarius at 0 degrees of Aquarius. Venus was at 0 degrees of Gemini. A trine between Venus and Pluto can be very passionate. This can be a very passionate, powerful transit. This can be love and romance. We often feel it in our relationships. It can really bring an intensity to interactions. So you may have had an interaction during that time. It could have been with anyone. It could have been a friendship. It could have been an astrology reading you had. It could have been in a love romantic relationship. But you could have felt a real intimacy with that person during that interaction. You could have met someone that felt like a fated connection or a destined connection. You also could have seen a truth during Venus trine Pluto. You could have seen a truth in a relationship that made you realize this relationship is a contract, soul contract that has expired. It is no longer good for me and I need to release it. Or just, I've outgrown this relationship, or we want different things, we have different intentions, we're headed on different paths. Our paths are diverging. So even though it was a trine, which is positive energy flow, it feels like the wind at your back, it feels like something just happens, it's not always something that we're super excited about. Sometimes it can be like, okay, I guess that's falling apart, oh well. And if that's something you wouldn't have chosen, it probably happened in a way that is allowing you to release it fairly easily and fairly quickly. And that release may have also been sparked by the Libra full moon, because it's a Libra full moon. A lot of us got a more harsh awakening, a bigger wake-up call that didn't maybe feel so easy or good, to relationships that are ending, or which can also be like contracts with clients. It can show up in a lot of different ways. The next key date for you, for Venus in Gemini, is April 14th to the 18th. So when this video goes live on the 16th, we'll still have a few more days of this. And this is Saturn making a square to Venus. Saturn in Pisces making a square to Venus in Gemini. Now, when I say square, a lot of us cringe because we don't like squares. Well, let's say our human self doesn't like squares. Our soul is not upset by a square because our soul knows that it's going to get our human self into action. That is the point of a square. A square brings tension or pressure that causes us to make a decision we've been putting off, or causes us to get into action. And this is a good thing, because once we take that action, then we feel a sense of relief. So for some of you, if you live in the United States, for example, you might be finishing up your taxes. It's really close to the tax deadline. Saturn in Pisces can make you feel restricted. It can make you feel trapped. It can make you feel tight. Saturn can sometimes feel like a killjoy. I hate to say it, but I feel like it's true. A lot of times Saturn feels like a killjoy, especially to Venus in Gemini, which is, I just want to go have fun. I just want to do something pleasurable. I want to relax. I want to enjoy food and drink with people. I want to talk. I want to communicate. I want to call my friend. I don't want to sit down and do my taxes. And if you can hear that sound in the background, my friend, I'm going to try and erase it from this video, but it sounds like someone's taking a shower in my bedroom. That's impossible. There's no one else in my apartment. I don't know what it's coming from. So Saturn in Pisces, which is water flowing. It's a lot of water flowing. Interesting enough that that's happening in this moment. Saturn in Pisces can feel like a wet blanket. It feel like someone's dumping a bucket of water onto something that's really meaningful to you, something that matters to you. Okay, the sound just stopped. It could also bring up a disappointment. It could be that you're just working really, really hard on something and you have no time to play. There's just no time. Your plate is full and you have to get some things done. Fortunately, this is temporary. It's going to end on the 18th. Some of you may feel it on the 19th, but very soon after that it will end. And know that any efforts that you're putting in during this time are important. They will pay off for you. Saturn always rewards hard work. And if you're disappointed by something, well, know that that was meant to leave. Pisces energy rules ending. Saturn in Pisces says, if you no longer have the passion for this, or you're not receiving the effort that you're putting in, it's not mutually reciprocal, you're not getting back enough energy, the energy that you're putting into something, then Saturn and Pisces could cause an ending for you, so you can move on to something else that will be more rewarding for you, that will be more mutually reciprocal, that will be better for you in the long run. And the last key date I have for you is May 4th to May 6th. Between May 4th and May 6th, which also corresponds with the Scorpio lunar eclipse, which is happening May 5th, Neptune and Venus will make a square. Neptune is our visionary self. It's the higher octave of love. It's our connection to the divine. It's oneness. This oneness energy, unconditional love, is squaring Venus. And Venus is sort of our everyday love interactions, our everyday money, our everyday beauty and pleasure. Neptune square Venus is usually where there's a disappointment. We've put someone on a pedestal, they fall off the pedestal. We feel like the rug has gotten pulled out from underneath us. Someone promised us something, they don't deliver on the promise. We had an idea of who someone was, and now we realize they're not the person that we thought they were. We projected something onto them that wasn't the reality. Neptune's where we take off the rose-colored glasses and we see things for the way they are. But with Neptune and Venus making a square, it could feel like, okay, I've got to make a decision. What's the truth here? And we may feel somewhat disillusioned in love, whether it's friendship, a familyship, or a romantic relationship. During the Scorpio lunar eclipse, which corresponds with Neptune and Venus squaring, a truth may be revealed. We may get a truth. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and Mars, co-ruled, but Pluto is really in there wanting to show us what needs to go during that lunar eclipse. And of course, I'm going to do a separate video for you all with readings for all 12 signs that will be forthcoming. But just know that if you're disillusioned in love during this period, in friendship, just know that this eclipse wants to make room for you to call in someone into your life that is going to be more honoring of you, more respectful of you. It's going to be more of a mutually caring, loving relationship. And I'm talking about all relationships. And that is for your highest good. One more point to make, and then I want to give you a few insights I've received on the Aries solar eclipse. And then we're going to get to the 12 sign reading. So what is so cool during this Venus in Gemini period is that Mercury is in Taurus while Venus is in Gemini. Mercury in Taurus and Venus in Gemini have something going on called mutual reception. What is mutual reception? Mutual reception is like simpatico between these two signs. Why? Because Mercury in Taurus is ruled by Venus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus in Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So Venus in Gemini says to Mercury, hey, Mercury in Taurus, I'm ruled by Mercury. I know a lot about how Mercury works. Let me give you some of my expertise. And Mercury in Taurus says, hey, Venus in Gemini, I'm ruled by Venus. Let me show you how Venus works. I can share some of my Venusian tips with you. So it's as though each planet is receiving expertise, cooperation, collaboration even from the other. And I think this is potentially, since Mercury rules our divine downloads, I think this is potentially going to bring in some really lovely signs and synchronicities for all of us. So watch out for those. Now, Mercury stations retrograde on April 20th, 21st, right after the total solar eclipse in Aries. Mercury goes retrograde. And it will station direct on May 15th. So I just want to throw in here that Mercury retrograde is not the best time to make long-lasting commitments unless, and I want you all to hear, this is a big unless it's something that you've been working on for some time. If you've been working on a partnership with someone for a long time and you're about to finally sign that contract, well, there probably won't be any negative ramifications because you happen to sign it during Mercury retrograde. But if you find a brand new apartment or you find a house you want to buy during Mercury retrograde, it's often more helpful, if possible, if at all possible, to put off the signing of the contract until after Mercury goes direct. Why is this? Because often during Mercury retrograde, we just can't see things as clearly as we can when Mercury is direct. And often it's because something is hidden. I once signed a lease on an apartment where the water heater was really, really old and in danger of bursting. And of course, when you look at apartments, you don't usually go to the water heater and look at the exact date that the water heater was installed, right? Very few of us would do that. But when I moved in and found out that the water heater was making really loud banging noises, of course, I told my landlord and he replaced it. He wasn't happy to replace it, I have to say that, and it was pretty uncomfortable for me during that interaction with him, but I had to do it. So those kinds of things can come up when you commit to something during a Mercury retrograde period. However, if you do commit to something during Mercury retrograde, you're often able to get out of it if something comes up that is a deal breaker for you. You can often get out of it later. Okay, so a few new insights that I've received about the total solar eclipse in Aries since my last video on the subject. Number one, expect the unexpected, expect change. I know a lot of us are feeling a lot of uncertainty right now. Uncertainty is definitely the vibe that's out there. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you're feeling this. That can create anxiety. That can create like, I have no idea where my life is going right now. I don't know what's happening with my relationships. I don't know what's happening with my place of residence. A key decision could be up in the air for you right now, my friend. And I also should add that during Venus in Gemini, since Gemini rules our decisions and our choices, this could be a time of kind of added uncertainty because we feel like we have a number of choices during this time. So try to stay open, stay in the place of positive expectation. I don't know what's happening, but I'm open to the possibilities and I'm open to seeing what's coming through. Of course, I always advocate talking with your guides, your spiritual guides, your angels, asking for help, asking for signs, asking for synchronicities. And this is energy that is very likely to come through during Venus and Gemini. This energy of this eclipse season is quickly moving. Things could come in very quickly. You could get a new opportunity that shows up that you were not expecting very quickly, very fast, and you could feel flustered by it. You could feel like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what decision to make. This feels like a lot, and maybe something you're really excited about that you've been praying for, you've been asking for some time, and then it happens and you feel scared. This is why we say be careful for what you wish for, right? Sometimes it's overwhelming. Sometimes it's like a new passionate relationship or it's a brand new home. It's like, oh my God, there's a part of us that doesn't feel deserving, a subconscious part that maybe doesn't know whether we deserve it. It feels like maybe it's too much in some way, too much money. That's possible. Too beautiful of a home. Sometimes we can feel like, oh, maybe the other shoe's gonna drop if this is so good. We can be more comfortable with the familiar, even if it's not what we really want, even if we want a life improvement. So if this comes up for you, try to pause and breathe. And remember that you are in charge. You get to decide. You are co-creating your reality with your divine self, your future self. Call on your future self. I do this with my clients. I guide them through meditations where they connect with their future self and they get guidance from this more wise, unconditionally loving, higher self that knows your truth. Your soul always knows your truth. So we have access to this part of us that we can consult, our divine consultant, right? We can consult this part of us to get answers and not feel like life is out of control. Remember, this eclipse is about leveling up. So wherever the eclipse is happening, and you might want to go back to my solar eclipse video and listen to your rising sign, your sun and moon as well, you can find out, where is this happening in my life? This is where you're leveling up. This is where you're rising to the occasion. It's probably going to be a reach for you. Do your very best to know it's very human of you if insecurities come up. Put your doubts aside for the moment. Feel your doubts, feel the fear, let it move through you, release that energy, and know that any step you take is part of the learning process. We're all learning together and we're all learning as we go along. And because Mercury goes retrograde the very next day after the eclipse, we're all going to have a period of review, a period of sitting with our choices, getting clear on what we want, and then taking action. Stay in faith, my friend. What does this mean, stay in faith? This is a period where we really have to call on our faith. We have to call on our Jupiterian self. And another cool synchronicity is that this eclipse in Aries is widely conjuncted by Jupiter. So Jupiter is there for us as our teacher, as our spiritual guide to help us to get clarity and to stay in faith. And if you have a spiritual guide like Jesus or Mother Mary or whoever you work with, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, whoever you work with, that can help you to return to your center and reconnect with your faith. And a quick example of this is, many of you know I moved to Puerto Vallarta in mid-December of 2022. So I've been here for several months now, and a lot of people leave Vallarta during the summer, during the warmer months. It's considered the rainy season, it's considered the off season, and that really begins in May. So what I've noticed is that a lot of people who I've met who are my friends, they're leaving. Like I'm like, I just got here and you guys are all leaving. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. But when I step back and I really get clear, I realize anybody who leaves, they're just creating space for someone new to come into my life, right? They're creating space for different vibration probably, and one that is even a better match for my energy. Some of us are saying farewell to relationships during this eclipse season. With the Scorpio lunar eclipse, many of us are going to be cutting ties to expired soul contracts, as we say. Yes, this will create a void. I think what a lot of us are most afraid of and what we can feel is a void, a potential void. But again, that's because we have graduated, my friend. There's a real graduation energy signature to this total Aries solar eclipse. Many of us have graduated from expired soul contracts, karmic relationships. We've done the work, and so a void has to be created by cutting ties to those so that we can bring in those relationships that light us up, that spark our enthusiasm, that feel like a beautiful match, that inspire us. We deserve inspired, soulful, sage people in our lives to match our energy and to help us so that we can all mutually bring each other up into new creations. So if you have fears come up about this eclipse season, and I know a lot of people have mentioned to me that they're afraid about the Scorpio lunar eclipse, remember that fear is very natural, but when we give our energy away to fear, we're giving our energy away. We're out of our power. So take back your power. Don't give your energy to fear. Any relationship, situation, job, contract, client, anything that we have to cut ties to or that leaves our life during the Scorpio lunar eclipse, it's only happening because we are no longer a match with that situation. We couldn't hold on to it if we wanted to. And I know that's hard for the human self. So to the best of your ability, try to be in observer mode. Try to observe the situation. Allow the grief to come. There may be a grief process for a lot of us, but allow the grief to happen and then see your life from a higher perspective and know that a new person, job, business situation, clients will come in and fill that space at a higher vibration, at a higher level of fulfillment, joy, and happiness. Okay, my friends, so let's do the 12 sign readings now. Listen to your rising sign. This is the area of life, the area in your chart in which this Venus in Gemini transit is happening for you, and your sun and moon sign can bring in new insight, new inspirations as well. So let's start with Gemini. Gemini, you're having this transit of Venus in your first house, which is your identity. It's how you see yourself. It's the roles that you play. It's also your appearance and your vitality. So, and it's across the wheel from your 7th house of partnerships. So since Venus rules delight, it rules money, it rules pleasure, comfort, and beauty, all those beautiful things that we enjoy in life. It's really the lusciousness of life, really. Someone asked me, what's Venus? I'd say it's the lusciousness of life. It's everything that brings us earthly 3D deliciousness. Since it's happening across from your 7th house, it could also bring in a new love relationship or new clients or new friendships. Now, you're going to be very magnetic, Gemini. You're going to be very magnetic during this time with Venus transiting your first house. You're going to be more social. You're going to be more outgoing. Remember that you deserve to be loved, adored, and fully seen for who you are, because you're going to have a real desire for this during this time. You're really going to want to be seen. Your sparkly self is going to be like, look at me. I feel so good. See how beautiful I am. Some of you are really going to enjoy that. This is a really good time for beauty treatments. It's a really good time to change up your appearance somehow. If you want to do that, you might want to shop for a new wardrobe. You may want to get your hair done. There's a lot of different things that you could do during this transit. But remember, it all comes down to how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself, and how you want to be seen. You could also be thinking about doing something in your physical body But really, when you have a transit in the first house of Venus, it could bring in a lot of different things because first house is the self. And so this could bring in inspiration and desire to make more money. You could have more people recognizing you and adoring you, people asking for your advice. There's a lot of different ways this could come through, but just know, big picture, you're really magnetic during this transit, Gemini. Okay, so now I'm going to pull a card for you. Let's see what the cards have to say for Geminis. Gemini, your card is clearing. It says, clear the clutter. When in doubt, throw it out. Okay, so you are going through a changeover. Remember, this Venus and Gemini transit's happening during eclipse season, so you're going through a changeover. And this card is really encouraging you to clear out anything that is no longer needed by you. Clear it out so that you can feel lighter and you can feel more robust and you can feel more joyful and make room for new things. It reminds me of how, often when we give away a bunch of clothes or we donate things to a good cause, it's when we often have new things come into our lives. Then we feel like we can go shopping and buy new things, or gifts are given to us. So a little bit of clutter clearing and a lot of joy, beautiful Gemini. Okay, Taurus, beautiful Taurus. You guys are having this transit of Venus and Gemini in your second house of money, your values, your self-esteem, your self-love, and your material possessions. So generally when Venus transits your second house, you have an increase in money. The cash flow opens up for you. So that's really good news. You could also be really getting really clear on your values. Your values could be shifting and you could be saying, I deserve this and I deserve that. And you could just be getting these kind of inner yeses. I'm going to go buy myself this. Really, you could have a lot of money going out and money coming in because you're finally allowing yourself maybe to make some purchases that perhaps you haven't allowed yourself before. You could be beautifying in any area of your life. You could be sharing more resources with your partner because this is across from the 8th house. Your partner could be giving you more presents or money. And overall, I just see this as a very lovely transit for you. It's the natural placement for you, Taurus. It's you rule the second house of money. So it's just going to be, I think, for you, except for those periods that I mentioned earlier in the video, like when Saturn and Venus make a square. Except for those times, I think you're really going to feel a positive uplift for yourself in the areas of possessions, material reality, money, and so on. So now I'm going to pull a card for you, Taurus, and see what the cards have to say for beautiful Taurus. Second house, Venus and Gemini transit. And you could also have a connection that comes in because Gemini rules connections. So you could have new money come in. You could get a job by going to a party. You could have, meet somebody through a casual conversation and have that turn into more money or turn into a love relationship. Okay, now your card. Taurus. Your card is trust. Trust your decisions. March to the beat of your own heart, Taurus. Trust your decisions. So you could be making a decision during this time. The light always gets funky when I pull the cards. So Gemini energy is all about choices and decisions as well. It's duality. It's like, do I want this or this? It's very likely you could be deciding between jobs. You could be deciding between partners. You could be deciding who you want to date. But ultimately, give yourself the freedom to trust your own decisions and march to the beat of your own heart because your heart always knows, Taurus. I know you already know that. I'm just validating for that. Whatever your heart wants most, that's the direction that your spirit is guiding you toward. Okay, Aries. Hello, beautiful Aries. Aries, you're having this transit of Venus in Gemini in your third house, which is naturally ruled by Gemini. Third house is considered the house of Gemini. So this means that there's going to be an ease here for you. Remember that the third house rules a lot of different things. In the big picture, it is connections, it's communication, it's everything that's happening in your local environment. It's your emails, it's your back and forth, it's local speaking and writing and networking. It's also your devices. It is also, be sure and back those up. It's also siblings and neighbors. So some of you could have a new love romance if you're not partnered. If you don't have a partner, you could team up with somebody through a neighbor. You could be hooked up with somebody through a neighbor or through a cousin or through a sibling. You could have a healing with a sibling. You could have a healing with a neighbor. You could have a lot of fun and playfulness with neighbors, with just people in your local environment, a lot of fun conversations on the fly with people that you work out with, or those that you go buy groceries from, or wherever you go to do your thing. Wherever you go in your sort of normal daily life, the gym, yoga studio, and so forth is going to be probably a really lovely, delightful time for you. So, beautiful Aries. And you're going to be really attracted to curious, intellectual people during this time. Okay, Aries. So I'm going to pull a card for you now. Let's see what the cards have to say. Venus in Gemini. Power. Own your power. Every storm brings a fresh new beginning. So look at the electricity that this person is generating. And this reminds me that the total solar eclipse in your sign, there's a Uranus aspect. There are actually two Uranus aspects. One is Mercury and Uranus are connected. They are conjoined during this eclipse. And Mars in Cancer is making a sextile to Uranus. So there's a lot of potential electrical energy happening during this eclipse. Not surprised that you are having this Gemini transit in your third house. So just know that this may bring up issues of, am I giving my power away? Am I taking a stand for myself? Am I taking a stand for my life? If you need to do that because it's going to bring in a powerful new beginning for you. And this is a new beginnings eclipse in your sign that rules new beginnings, that rules the first day of spring, beautiful Aries. So you've got this. You've totally got this. There's so much power in this card. And some of you are going to be the butterfly. Some of you are going to have a rebirth, which I know Aries is all about rebirth. So some of you are going to be the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis during this solar eclipse and this Venus in Gemini period. Okay, Pisces. Hello, beautiful Pisces. You guys are having this Venus in Gemini transit in your fourth house. Your fourth house of home, family, and childhood conditioning. So there's probably going to be a feeling of sweetness in your home during this transit. You may have a new love in your life, and maybe you're bringing your new love to dinner with your family, or you're all going out together. You're introducing someone that you love, or you're introducing clients, or you're introducing friends to your family, perhaps. You might be beautifying your home because Venus rules beauty as well. You may find that you're out and about a lot more than you normally are. You could be redecorating. You could be buying beautiful things for your home. You could be treating family members, or they could be treating you to spontaneous events that really light you up. And you could be having healing conversations with those that you live with, roommates or family members as well, or spouses, girlfriends, boyfriends, anyone that you live with, anyone you share a home with. So Pisces, let me pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say for beautiful Pisces. Boundaries, Pisces. Set boundaries. Protect your precious time and energy. So don't overgive. Don't overgive during this transit. You can see the magic in this card. She points to what she wants, and it just appears. So I feel a real alchemy to this card. I feel a real, like, you as the creator of your life, the co-creator with spirit. You definitely have that oneness connection with the divine, Pisces. And when you feel like your energy is being drained, or you feel like you're hanging out with people that are not giving back to you what you're giving to them, that's the time to set boundaries, because your precious time and energy are needed for what is most important to you. Okay, Aquarius. Hello, beautiful Aquarians. You guys are having this transit of Venus in Gemini, fellow air sign, in your fifth house of fun, play, creativity, and children. How fun is that? Also romance and true love. So you may be starting a new art project. You could feel a bloom in your creative expression. You could have new divine downloads come through for a writing project or a speaking project or a class that you want to teach. You may have a new romance. This is a beautiful time for dating. Oh my gosh, Venus and Gemini. Gemini can really enjoy dating different people. So this could really be a time of lusciousness around romance lusciousness around money coming in for your creative projects, or really fun, loving interactions with your children. So, beautiful Aquarius, I would enjoy this to the hilt. Enjoy this time of Venus in Gemini. You may be having a lot more conversations with your friends on the phone, texting, a lot more interactions, just super social because you're already social, Aquarius. Gemini is really social, the two energies together. That's a lot of getting out and about, being outgoing and having fun. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for you now. Ah, beautiful Aquarius. And guess what your card is? You can't make this stuff up. Oh my goodness. Pleasure. How perfect for a Venus in Gemini 5th house transit. Do something just for fun, it says. Pleasure is one of life's essential nutrients. Essential nutrients. So Aquarius, if you are prone to feeling guilty for taking too much time out for play, let that go. Let it go, because this is your time. These transits, they come and go. This is less than a month. Venus in Gemini is moving very, very quickly through your 5th house. So enjoy it while it lasts and make note of the inspirations that are coming through for you, because you may follow through on those and really create something beautiful and expressive for yourself and for others as well. Okay, Capricorns. Hello, beautiful Capricorns. You guys are having this transit of Venus and Gemini in your 6th house. Your 6th house is your daily, mundane errands, structures, schedules, work, everything you do on a daily basis. But remember, with Venus and Gemini, the magic comes through the mundane. It comes through those errands that we do. It comes through those casual conversations that we have. So this is actually quite an interesting place to have a Venus and Gemini transit. Now, because this house rules work, you could get a promotion with Venus. Remember, Venus rules money, love, beauty, and pleasure. You could be getting days off. You could be taking a vacation. You could be getting a raise. You could be getting a new job. There's a leveling up here for you for sure. You could be restructuring your daily life so that you have more pleasure, so that you make more money, so that it's just more delightful, all around delightful for you. You have more freedom perhaps. And some of you could meet a new love at work too, because this rules love and work. This 6th house is work and Venus is love. Some of you could be finding a healer, an alternative health practitioner, or receiving something from a divine download that helps you to heal something physical in your body as well. So let's pull a card for you now, beautiful Capricorn, and see what the cards have to say for Capricorns. The card is time. It's a very royal looking card. I'll show you in a second. It says, schedule a sacred date with yourself. You deserve time for your life. Have you not been giving yourself enough time in your daily schedule, beautiful Capricorn? Because this is the time to do that. One of the things I love about astrology is it rules time. It rules the cycles of time. And it tells us when it's time for something. And I know that may seem extremely obvious, but the hit that I got when I saw this card for you was that you deserve a soul date. There's something called a soul date that I talk about in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, and how we can get so much inspiration when we give ourselves time and we go off on a date with just ourselves. I give you all the parameters for your soul date in my book. There are some rules, which I don't think you'll mind, Capricorn, because you guys are okay with rules. You're okay with structure. But I give you a structure, which is probably a better way of saying it, for your soul date. But when you do this soul date, that's when you can really get excited and motivated for the next chapter of your life. So I encourage you, if that calls to you, check out my book. It's in the description box below, as well as in my banner. And in any case, give yourself a sacred period of time when you can connect with you and your higher self. And that's not just meditation. It's not just kind of holding up, by yourself. It could be that, but it also could be taking yourself out for lunch, or taking yourself to a movie, or going into a shop that you don't usually go in, and just receiving whatever signs, synchronicities, inspirations the divine wants to give you. by being in that different kind of environment. Okay, Sagittarius, beautiful Sages. You guys are having this transit of Venus and Gemini in your seventh house of partnerships, which also includes family relationships. It includes best friendships, client relationships, any relationships in which there is a spoken or unspoken commitment, all of your important bonds. Some of you could be getting a marriage proposal during this time. Others of you could be introduced to someone new through a best friend or through somebody, a coworker that's really important to you at work. Venus in the seventh house is really nice energy. If you want a partner or you want to deepen the intimacy with your current partner, you want to deepen your bond with any current love relationships, whether they be friendships, familyships, or lovers, this is a beautiful transit for all of you that you're having. And I'm going to now pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. So either way, whether you're single or you're partnered or you want new friends or you have all the friends in your life that you need, either way, this is going to be an uptick in the delight, the fulfillment, and the sweet intimacy between you. And your card is action. Action. Take action. The journey to find your best self begins with one step. So some of you may be getting enlightened during this transit on what action you can take to improve a relationship. Maybe you're giving gifts to your partner or your friends. Maybe you are receiving blessings and gifts. But this is a time to be proactive. We do have the solar eclipse in Aries after all, and that's very action oriented, very much about being proactive. So this is saying that it's time for you to take a step, Sag. You probably know what that step is. Maybe it's you who's proposing, or maybe it's you who's getting clarity on whether you want to up-level a certain relationship or say yes to someone who's proposed to you. But either way, you know, proposing is a metaphor as well for life, right? It's a metaphor for really getting clear on what we most want in our closest bonds. So enjoy this transit of Venus and Gemini in your seventh house, Sag. Okay, Scorpio, beautiful Scorpios. You guys are having this transit of Venus in Gemini in your eighth house. Your eighth house of shared resources. This is also a partnership house for your most, you know, wherever you share money, time, or energy with other people. That's an eighth house relationship. It's also taxes, inheritances. It's also where we can get a windfall of money. I love Venus in the eighth house. It's also where you can have true, passionate, intensely passionate intimacy with another person, emotional or physical or both, and where you could transform through that. You can transform through love during this transit. Some of you also may be simply investing. Maybe you're making money from your investments. Maybe you're getting a loan. You're getting help from somebody else financially. But either way, this is feel good. It's feel good. It's bringing you an up level in this area of your life. And this could also be a transformation of your own self-love and an awakening to your own deeper values and how they've shifted, Scorpio. So let me pull a card for you now and see what the cards have to say. For Venus in your eighth house in Gemini, Scorpio. And your card is awareness. So this sounds like a bit of an awakening for you. It says practice present moment awareness. Stay in the present moment. The meaning you yearn for lives in the ever present now. So this is a pretty deep message for you. Whatever meaning you're searching for, it's in the present, Scorpio. And I know that probably sounds so obvious to you, but I'm getting a sense of nature spending for you to spend more time in nature, for you to take a load off, for you to give yourself time to put your bare feet on the ground somewhere, on the sand, in a forest, in a river, whatever calls to you, whatever you have access to. I'm feeling like some beautiful, pleasure-filled moments with the elements, you know, water, fire, like gazing at a fire, the things that bring us into the present moment, staring at a sunset. I'm getting a sense that when you commune with nature, you're going to be communing with your deeper self, and you're going to find that sense of meaning or fulfillment that some of you are searching for. Okay, Libras, beautiful Libras, you guys are having this transit of Venus and Gemini in your ninth house of adventure, spirituality. This is long distance travel, foreign lands. It's also higher learning. It's really big picture expansion where you're really expanding your mind, you're expanding your horizons. And some of you are letting go of spiritual beliefs and getting really connected to what your soul wants, how your soul is guiding you, your own spiritual guidance. But with Venus here ruling money, beauty, pleasure, and comfort, some of you may meet somebody when you are traveling in another country. You could fall in love with someone. You could attract a lover from a different country. Some of you, because it's the house of publishing as well, some of you could publish a book that turns out to be a bestseller. Some of you could be doing more speaking, more writing. You could get scholarship money for higher learning, a master's degree, a PhD, or a certification program. Or you could fall in love with your professor. That could happen too. Okay, Libra, so I'm shuffling the cards. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. Your card is Revelation. How perfect for a ninth house transit. Listen to your life. The right path will reveal itself. Some of you feel stuck. Some of you are trying to decide between different options. Gemini rules this decision-making process, our choices. The right path will reveal itself when you give yourself time to be with what is, be with your choices. She's in nature, of course. She's really reflecting. She's really listening. I feel like this really is a card about deep listening. So Libra, do you give yourself time for deep listening? If you haven't lately, I highly encourage it. Writing in your journal can be a really good way to connect with your own inner wisdom. And spending time in any natural environment that puts you at ease, that helps you relax your energy, is another great way to do that. But definitely there is clarity coming to you if you've been stuck on what to do. If you're kind of going, this is an Aries solar eclipse, what do I want? Where do I go? What do I do? Then I think you're going to be getting that clarity very soon, as long as you give yourself this time to reflect and receive a revelation. And you can pray for a revelation as well. Intend that the truth is revealed to you, and it shall be. Okay, Virgos, beautiful Virgo, you guys are having this transit of Venus in Gemini in your 10th house, your 10th house of career, legacy, retirement. This is where you want more meaning and fulfillment. This is the house of vocation. So some of you are going to be making more money in your vocation, in your career, in your business. Some of you are going to get a business idea that will allow you to do the thing that you most want to do, that your heart most wants you to do. So really listen to that. Really listen to the inspirations that are coming through on what your heart wants most. You could meet a new love on a business trip, or you could go to a convention or a conference and meet somebody, or you could have an awakening to your life purpose, to what you want to do next. What is your passion now? You could have an uptick in your reputation. You could find that you're being more recognized, that you're being more adored, you're receiving more accolades for your work. You could win an award. Some of you might retire and do the thing that you've always wanted to do. And others of you might receive a tribute. Maybe you are retiring and you go to a retirement party and someone gives you a really beautiful tribute. So this is where we're receiving the compliments from others, the accolades, the feedback, the awards and rewards of maybe of years of hard work that you put in. Or you could simply be starting a brand new career and getting a lot of support from friends, from family, from people who really want to see you succeed. So Virgo, I am now going to pull a card for you. And let's see what the cards have to say for you. And definitely more money in your career, whether it's job or business, no question, could be happening for you. So, Virgos, faith. Even if you have a momentary setback, Virgo, or you have, as I said earlier in the video, we're going to be having a transit, it's fairly brief, of Saturn and Pisces. making a square to Venus and Gemini. And that could feel like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, or I'm losing clients, or anything like that. Even if that happens, that is very brief. And what it's meant to do is to strengthen you and open you up to your true next steps. So just remember that, or where it would be helpful to expand your reach, or meet new people. But here's your card, Faith. It says, have faith. Faith grows when you act without knowing the end result. So this transit of Venus and Gemini may be wanting to help you to grow your faith, to be more in the moment, to have more of those casual conversations that I was talking about earlier in this video, where you're opening up to more synchronicities and signs from the universe. And sometimes we don't do that. We don't go out of our comfort zone to talk to people we don't know, right? Or to go to parties, or to go to meetup events, things like that. We don't do that as much until we start to feel like there's a void, right? So you may feel a short-lived void, which is going to get you out and about more. It's going to have you putting out more feelers and making more connections, and that is going to lead you to the right people, the right places, the right amounts of money, and the resources and everything that you need. Beautiful Virgo. Okay, Leos, beautiful Leos. You guys are having this transit of Venus and Gemini in your 11th house. Your 11th house is communities, it's friendships, it's long-term gains, it's hopes, wishes, and dreams. So what a fun placement for Venus and Gemini, because Venus and Gemini wants to play, wants to have fun, wants to go out and mix it up, go to mixers, maybe go to parties. And this is where you could find the rewards coming in. This is where you could meet the new people, where you could have a new romance. You might go to a gathering, like a meetup group or a church meeting or a spirituality course, something like that, a webinar even, and you meet someone. You could meet someone online. This house also rules social media. So you could meet someone online, you could meet someone in person, but this is about you expanding your reach in some way. In this house as well, with Venus and Gemini, a close friend could set you up with someone. There could be a mutual connection that happens through a setup of a friend or a colleague or somebody that you are part of a community with. So be sure and do your share of connecting if you are called to do that during this time, whether it starts on social media or it starts in your own neighborhood. Be sure and put yourself out there as much as you feel comfortable with, and maybe go out of your comfort zone as well to do that, Leo, because this is a really good time to make new connections. And these could also be connections that bring you more of those long-term gains, that help you to really feel supported. This is the house of the tribe and the house of the world. It's the world card in the tarot. So feeling more support, feeling like other people have your back, and you're not doing this, whatever this is for you, you're not doing it alone. So now I'm going to pull a card, shuffling the cards, and let's see what the cards have to say for Leos. Risk, Leo, risk. Take a risk. You have the power within to move mountains. What a beautiful card. I love this card. It's so creative. She's on top of a mountain. She's surveying her life from above. She's taking a risk, whether it's a small risk or a big risk. Leap in the net will appear, but also just allowing, Venus and Gemini can be so lighthearted and playful and fun. So it doesn't have to be a huge risk. It could be, I'm going to take a risk to talk to that person who's standing in line waiting for coffee with me, or it could be like last evening, I went to a restaurant and wanted to listen to music. So I ordered some tacos, and there was a little cat. Here in Puerto Vallarta, there are a lot of cats that just kind of freely roam in and out of places. Some of them have owners connected to the restaurant and others don't. The cats are just kind of allowed to roam. And so I was like connecting with this sweet little kitty at dinner, and then someone next to me started talking to me because he thought the kitty was cute too, or maybe he thought I was cute, I don't know. But either way, we struck up a conversation. It was fun, and it brought fun in the moment, and it brought connection in the moment. And we string enough of those moments together and we start to really feel good in our lives. So take a risk, do something that you wouldn't normally do, go out of your comfort zone, and you will reap the rewards. Beautiful Leo. Okay, Cancer. Hello, Cancer family. I have Cancer moon and Cancer rising. So all of us Cancers are having this transit of Venus and Gemini in our 12th house, our 12th house. The 12th house is retreat. It is our connection with the divine. It's our inner mystic. It's where we can do deep dive meditations, soul journeys, and really reconnect and fill ourselves up with that beautiful divine energy. So Venus here wants to make sure we fill up our own cup, beautiful Cancer. We fill up our own cup because then we don't expect to have our cup filled by other people, right? In addition to this, Venus ruling money, beauty, and pleasure, you could receive some gifts. You could have an anonymous benefactor. You could have a karmic attraction. This is where you could have a fated love relationship come into your life. You just want to make sure that they are of a vibration that allows you to have a healthy relationship, right? You could deepen your practice or start a new practice that's going to raise your own frequency, as we say, your own vibration. So you might start a Kundalini yoga practice. You might be doing more breath work. You might be doing more meditation. You could deepen your partnership with your own soul, which I discuss and teach you in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes. I share with you in that book an automatic writing practice that can really make you feel like you have a deep connection with your own soul, and it gives you the courage and the confidence to step out and take more risks, which of course we're being called to do with this Aries solar eclipse. You could also meet soul friends from a past life in everyday interactions, Cancer. Like yesterday when I went to get my nails done, I met 3 beautiful women, one of whom was named Betsy, which is pretty unusual for a woman who's Mexicana, for her to be named Betsy. But that happened, and that immediately told me something, because there aren't very many Betsys in the world, and I have never met a Betsy who's also Mexican. So you could feel like you're reuniting with people from different lifetimes, which is really lovely and exciting. So, okay, now I'm going to pull a card for you, beautiful Cancer, and let's see what the cards have to say for you. Cancers. Your card is magnificence. Own your magnificence, Cancer. The world needs your brilliance and your grace. So I feel like this transit of Venus and Gemini is awakening you to more of your own specialness, your gifts, your talents, what makes you unique, what makes you magnificent. And it's time for you to up-level your own sense of your brilliance, to really hone in on what are you good at? What are you talented at? What do you do in a way that nobody else does it, Cancer? And the grace that you have, you are so psychic, you are so deep, you are so loving and soulful. And you bring this to all of the people in your life and to the world just by being you, just by being here on the planet, beautiful Cancer. So enjoy this transit of Venus and Gemini. Thank you, my beautiful friends, for your likes, for your comments. I love connecting with you in the comments, and for your shares and subscribes. Your subscribes really help. When you subscribe to my videos, the algorithm takes that as a thumbs up for the video and puts it out to more people who love astrology. Also, when you subscribe, you're more likely to get notified when I upload my next video. If you tap the notification bell, then you will definitely be notified when I upload my next video. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the deepest place of my heart, for your support. Now, if you would like an astrology consultation, my friend, what an amazing time to have a consultation. The astrology is only intensifying. It's going to continue to intensify through May, through the summer, as Pluto squares the nodes of the moon. We're all going to be feeling this. So if you would like to get a natal astrology chart reading, a heart's desire reading, or a life purpose reading with me, all you have to do is go to my website, go to the astrology page. You'll see a number of testimonials giving you a sense of what other people have gotten from their astrology consultations. And to book it, all you have to do is tap the reading that you want, choose your time zone, and you can book it directly online. In every astrology consultation, I share with you what I see in your chart. My intuition immediately begins working the moment I see your chart. Any downloads that I get, We talk about the current transits. How are they affecting you? If they're difficult ones, when are they ending? If they're positive ones, how can you work with those to really maximize your fulfillment and joy? Also, the future transits that are coming up throughout 2023. How can you work with those energies as well? I'm also looking at the eclipses and letting you know if they are affecting your chart, which is really a bonus. So it's my goal that you come away feeling more empowered, more in touch with your heart, and with at least one action step that you can take to move forward. If you would like coaching support, my friend, I offer one-off clarity coaching sessions as well as soul alchemy coaching. So all the information about that is on my website, on my coaching page. Both my coaching page and my astrology page are linked below in the description box. And as promised, I have a free gift for you, and that free gift is a soothing guided meditation, reconnecting with your soul, reconnecting with your heart and your true voice. To get that, just go to my website. It's an instant download. All you have to do is subscribe to my weekly inspirational astrology updates, and you will receive an instant download of a beautiful reconnecting with your soul guided meditation. And until my next video, my friend, I'm sending you all my love.